One of the things that I did at the very beginning of my journey to healing that I found to be most helpful was putting up quotes and positive affirmations all over the house for whenever my mind started to get sucked back into the vortex of self-doubt that eventually ended up having to paint wood signs to replace the sticky notes with, that still to this very day, reading those words boost my spirits or trigger me to break into what at once started as my own little personal inside joke I had with myself that's now better known by many as my sign-off. It was from within, two of my still all-time favorites, and helped to realize that there was nothing that was going to or could have changed the outcome in terms of ever having had a healthy or meaningful relationship with a narcissist, and allowed me to see what I had failed to see for so long and be able to grasp what personally was one of the hardest things to grasp about narcissists in their entirety, due to one thing and how it's related to their behaviors, the things that they do or say, which is humility. Because over yonder in Fantasyland, where all their wildest delusions are conjured up, to them, you are not a real person. Your feelings do not exist. Whether you like them or hate them makes absolutely no difference. It is solely and purely about image, about how things look, like some package gift wrapped and decked out in all sorts of fancy ribbons and bows, placed beside a smiling mannequin at the mall at Christmas time. Looks like some sort of wonderful fancy gift, but on the inside ain't nothing more than an empty box. And the things that they do and say to get you or anybody to buy in to their bullshit are all purely done at the surface level, to blow smoke up your ass in efforts to appear whatever way they need to appear in that moment, to get you to perceive them or the situation as need be, to ensure that they will benefit from it or get the need that they need filled, period. They have no desire, nor is anything about honest intentions, wanting or being a good person who is dependable, humble, and someone you can trust. And why? In terms of expecting, anticipating, or trying to get your head wrapped around anything at all to do with a narcissist that implies to or suggestive of humility, you're going to want to go ahead and toss straight into the wood chipper, because they don't see themselves as just being the supernova of the human species, or view their feelings and opinions as being more important than others. They are the one and only person in existence with feelings and opinions at all. Nothing has anything to do with you or anyone else. Everything, and I mean everything, is about them and their delusions, where they imagine themselves to be the sole proprietor of and sole entity that make up the human race. They are not going to change, see your perspective, or recognize that you all but killed yourself to somehow pull off managing to get through their fire-blazing hoop obstacle course from Elm Street, only to switch the rules or change the course after you were through, because they were never designed to be something in which could be met. Just another thing that they can use to push your buttons and get you to react in the way that they desire, while they watch you struggle fuck to prove your worth, because watching you suffer and watching you struggle reaffirms their delusional belief of seeing themselves as being some kind of powerful, majestical Mr. Megorium. And that image is what they get up for each morning. It's what they come home for each night. Their ride or die, their forevermore, what they would walk through coals and kill for. It is what they would die without. There will never be any substance or sustainable matter behind anything that they say or do. They do not grasp the first thing about humility and are so arrogant and self-centered that they have not a chance of improvement, because they won't even consider themselves as having flaws or even see them as such, due to refusing to take ownership or responsibility of anything. You are worth and deserve so much more than to be used, betrayed, lied to, and psychologically tortured just so some pompous Fruit Loop can fulfill their delusional, pretentious prophecy of pretending as if they are more almighty than God and the only thing of existence on 2 feet with feelings or opinions. Fuck that. Them and their delusions. If they want to live in some twisted version of Never Never Land, rolling around on a pink cloud high off of make-believe, then go buy them a full-length mirror and tell them to have at it doing some role play with the reflection staring back at them, because it don't get any faker or more pretend than that. And there's nothing that you can do to change that, fix them, or prevent them from continuing to suck the life from your being so that they can sustain the life of their delusions, except to cut them out of your life entirely. Because these people are like ruthless, demonic Energizer bunnies on steroids and will keep going and going and going. There is no end to their wickedness or level of low to their evil that they won't stoop. But here's the deal. Everything that you think, fear, or worry about preventing you from leaving truly are nothing but a concoction of all the BS that they have strategically implanted into your psyche to the point of a confusional oblivion, that it has disabled your ability to think stemming from logic and reason, because they want you to think that you are stuck so that they can get the narcissistic supply that they need to keep their delusions alive. But that does not mean that you are required to provide it. That's not to say that it's easy or that it honestly doesn't feel like you are stuck. Because for years, I was 100% convinced that I wouldn't be able to survive without my marriage to Satan. And having to face the brutal reality of it all sucks. It absolutely fucking sucks balls. Big balls. But sucking and stuck aren't the same. There are resources that you can access. They have royally screwed you over financially. You can reestablish the relationships with those that they have deliberately isolated you from in efforts to make you think that there's nowhere to go or anyone to turn to. Support groups with other survivors who can help ease the pain when it seems like no one else in the world understands, because they have been in your shoes and know exactly what it is you're trying to get out without having to perform some sort of miracle or having to say 3 Hail Marys before and after your explanation, because they get it. They actually get it. There's still going to be problems that arise, because getting them out of the picture doesn't change the fact that it's life, but it's a life that the hope for better days to come isn't hopeless. A life where you aren't always walking on eggshells, because it's okay for you to do the things that you enjoy, where laughter isn't a sound that you once made in the past. A life where your feelings and opinions matter. You get credit for your accomplishments, praised on your achievements, you're appreciated, respected, where others value your worth. A life where your voice can be heard and that being you is enough. A life that these people had no right at all to ever have taken from you in the first place. So fight for you. Nobody is worth losing your life, your sanity, and your soul for. Especially not these demonic creatures. Tell them they can go right ahead and gaslight this while you focus on you. 'Cause, well, fuck the narcissist.